Wow. Nail polish was used to differentiate between classes.
It's Divine D. Yeah, that's she. Remix. I don't know why they think she couldn't do it. I mean, God, I see the light. No more hiding in the dark. You never tore me apart. I got a vision with a mission. Melodies never keep missing. I'm a Christian on a mission that may fall short with slip ups and hiccups. God, I'ma need a pickup.
It's Divine D. That she, and welcome back. Hey chosen ones, and welcome back to another video. In today's video I am doing a hold on, this lighting is not it. We are doing a Black History Month segment, and today we are talking about Black women and nails. So when it comes to topics of nails, when it comes to topics in general, usually Black women, Black girls are viewed differently than white people doing these same exact things. And usually we get harsher judgment, we get stereotyped, a whole bunch of things come along with it. Now, with nails, whether you wear natural nails or whether you wear acrylic nails, there is judgments for both. And I think we shall discuss it. So, what I have noticed about Black women and nails is that we love our nails to be done, whether it's our natural nails, whether it's having acrylics, whether it's having press-ons, whatever, including myself. I love having my nails done. Now, when it comes to Black women and long nails, we are usually viewed as ghetto, or like we don't clean or cook, or we don't have class. Now, what I must say, first of all, is that I'm amazed about how this whole acrylic situation has evolved, and I want to touch bases on that because it also relates to my field. So, if you guys don't know, I do have my notes here, first of all. I just wanted to get that clear. I have my notes here on my laptop. So, if you guys don't know, acrylic nails was created by a dentist, and the dentist's name was Frederick Slack, and he invented the acrylic nail in 1954. The way it came about is when he was at his job, of course, dentistry, and his nail broke and he wanted to put it back together. So using dental acrylic, he was able to put his nail back together. While that wasn't really Black history related, I decided to throw that in there to give you some background information. So now we typically see women who are like Flojo, who are basically like Cardi and Sha'Carri Richardson. And these women have been viewed by the industry or by athletic directors or people within their jobs who tell them that they're doing too much or that this is ghetto. And if you all notice, one thing about them in common is they're mostly all women of color or Black women. And there's always something said about us and long nails. When I view nails, I think they're a way of expressing ourselves, just as we do with dressing, just as we do with our hair, and just as we do with makeup. There's plenty of different ways to express yourself. And I think it's one of the most purest forms of art on your body because it's removable and it's not permanent. Rather than getting a tattoo, you can do your nails to express yourself, and you can always change it out. I think the way some people, especially white people, have it, that you most commonly hear as being ghetto or too dramatic or we're too extra or we're doing too much. And I think that's a common term thrown to us, is that we're always doing too much. But is it us doing too much or just us loving ourselves and beautifying ourselves and expressing ourselves? Back then, it was always a problem where Black people could not express themselves. Why do you think they were not taught to read? They were not taught to write. It was by who knows means that some people were able to do that were slaves or Black people. They were able to lean on some people to learn how to read and learn how to write. But what would you think happened if Black people or slaves, I should say, learn how to read and write, we'd be able to express ourselves more. And that's what they did not want. They didn't want us to express ourselves, because once we express ourselves, we gain all this knowledge as well, and we're able to tell and spread it. Now, with the power of social media and the education that we have today, we are doing that. But this is where it's stemming from me. It's like they don't want us to express ourselves still, and they will talk down on us and do everything in their power just to make us hush like mice. But what I can say is that women, Black women especially, you should not let that get to you, because you know why? You are allowed to express yourselves in ways that you're not harming nobody or hurting nobody. And nails, I think it's a beautiful thing. It's art. It's something that's not hurting nobody. It's something that you can change something. It's always something about us that is a problem to the public eye. And I really think it's the expression that comes with it. And they don't want us to express ourselves. And I think many of you can agree with that. It's always been a problem for us to express ourselves. Even when you see people on social media, Black men or Black women on social media, and a quote unquote Karen or a rude white person is interacting with them, you can see how the white person wants all the power and all the public eye and attention, and they don't want the opposite person, the Black person, to say nothing or stand up for themselves. They want to have every last word, every last say, and it's all about them and them alone. And I think that's what we're not focusing on, because we're always attacked by our creativity. And let's be real, we create half of everything, okay? Let me read this statement here. It says, acrylic nails first emerged in the 1950s, invented by a dentist, and were swiftly adopted by Black women as a sign of femininity and style. The first Black woman on the cover of Vogue, I can't talk, whatever, in 1956 was sporting acrylics. In the 70s, women of color like Donna Summer, Diana Ross, and Millie Jackson dominated the disco charts, and bright red acrylics were their look of choice, and then came Flojo. Now, one thing I want to touch on is this red nail polish, because this was another thing. Many times, I'm pretty sure most of you, I know for me, it is also a thing, because many of you, I'm pretty sure your parents or grandparents or aunties, whatever, a Black woman in your life have told you that you cannot wear the color red. Whether it's nail polish, whether it's lipstick, whether it's whatever. And I think this is such a good one, because if you really look back at pictures and you look back at actors in like the 1900s, 1800s, whatever, back then, let's just put it like that, back then in those days, you don't really see too many Black females, Black actresses, Black athletes, Black whoever wearing red lipstick, red nail polish, whatever. But when you go to like Grease Lightning, all these other shows, movies, music, you see the white woman wearing red lipstick, red nail polish, and that's usually their color of choice. But when it's time for a Black woman to wear it, it's a problem. And usually it was stereotyped that this was because, oh, it's a sexy color or whatever, or it's too bright or whatever. In reality, that was never the case. I feel like Black women, Black girls are over and hypersexualized by the world, first and foremost, because when it comes to white person, they're not over-sexualized as a Black female, period. And that's the case, no matter what features they have. That's just the case, period. And I feel like they took away the real meaning from us, because they didn't want us to have the meaning of that red nail polish. Now, red nail polish, Let me go to the article that I have to read you guys. So here we are. In the Black community, there is a great sensitivity around the color red, which traditionally was used to describe promiscuity, rebellion, and devilish and aggressiveness when worn on darker skin tones. I want to point that out. When worn on darker skin tones, which means us, colored people. That's what they're saying. And do you get how they always attach a word or a stigma to us? Why do we have to get the rebellion, the devilish, this and that? We can never have nothing good attached to our names, yet they take away the actual meaning of something. When I used to be like, it's red, it's a color. My favorite color is red. A color is a color. But I did not know all this until one day I was curious and decided to look up all this history on nails. And I found out so much, and I'm glad I did this, because as I read further, a stark contrast to belief in other cultures, particularly in Asia, in which the color represents power and good fortune. Black women are told what colors we can wear based on our skin tone. And then it says, while for others, every color is their color. And I think this is so true, because when it comes to a black female, you usually hear, oh, even if it's just somebody helping you in an aisle who is not your race, who is white, or even if it's like a makeup person or whatever, you usually hear, oh, this color is better for you because it goes with your skin tone. Or, oh, this fits your melanin skin complexion. While for white people, every color is their color. They'll be like, oh, you can wear any color, this and that. And for white people, colors don't matter. But for us, notice how for us, when it comes to certain colors, it matters. Let me show you this. For example. Let me show you a good example of what I'm talking about. Let me show you a good example. Let me show you a great example of what I'm talking about here. For a black person, I'm pretty sure if you were to ask them, would they wear red or this, they'd probably say both, or they'd probably say red. But there's going to be that one elder person that says to a young person that they should not wear the red. And you're like, why? And they're like, you just shouldn't. It has bad things attached to it. But when it comes to a white person, and you say, which color would you wear? They're usually automatically going to pick the red. And notice how, no matter what age they are, their elders will not say nothing about the color red. They will actually encourage them to wear red. And if you notice, many kids play in makeup, and when it comes to a black kid, you wouldn't really hear a mom letting their child play in red lipstick, even though they're just playing with it. But when it's time for a white kid to play in makeup, this is what they usually go for. And their parents don't say nothing about it, because why should they? It's a color. But my thing here is showing you how, for us, the color of it matters when it's just a color. But let me keep going. Here's what this one says. When a white woman wears red lipstick, she is perceived as classic, polished, and elegant. Time and time again, we see politician Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez celebrated for her bold red lips. But oftentimes, when the same is done by black women, she is seen as loud or overtly sexual. And that is true. It is 100% true. So as we can see, and I've also read other things, that red nail polish is a symbol for entrepreneurship and growth and class and whatever. So It's just so crazy how they turn a color into something it's not when it has a whole opposite meaning. And again, this is where it comes into limiting Black people's growth, limiting their capabilities, not even capabilities, because we are capable of any and everything. I must tell you that. So I'm not even going to say that. I'm going to say that it limits our chances of climbing the ladder and reaching different steps and breaking generational curses if we keep telling generation after generation that this is wrong just because it's saying that you're too provocative or this and that, when those are false stigmas attached to us and given to us by the previous past generations, because that is what they grew up hearing. And it's just so crazy how all of this ties in together, and that this is all over a color. But it may be just, and it shows you how it's just one simple thing can be something so big, because even though we're just talking about a color and we're talking about nails, that this one small thing has a whole bigger meaning and bigger picture behind it. And I don't think much Black women have discovered this or read up on this, because this is why I'm doing these beauty segments, and each time I will do a different one. I'm going to do hair, nails, make whatever. I'm doing so many Black history videos this month based around beauty and more. It is impossible to discuss nail decorations without addressing how they originally symbolized wealth and power. So nail decorations not only are just cute, but they symbolize wealth and power. Wealth and power. And it's so crazy how they're so quick to throw a red flag at us for having nails. Just like when Sha'Carri Richardson first had her nails. And they're like, oh, that's ghetto. She's an athlete. She shouldn't have that. As long as she's able to maneuver with them, I don't see why it's a problem. But when you look at it and you see who's really complaining about it, it's those who you wouldn't suspect. And you don't really understand why they're complaining, but when you look at a deeper meaning to why they're complaining, there's a whole meaning. Because it's okay when they do it, but it's a problem when I do it. Let me continue reading. So, in ancient Egypt, where only the rich were permitted to wear red. Listen to that. Only the rich were able to wear red. That's my whole take right there. That's my whole take right there. Not only do I feel like red is an inner value color, but outer value. And that shows you where only the rich were allowed to wear the red nail polish. It's like, again, it's like knocking us 10 times down, because they expected us to wear so much darker colors. And if I can find interviews with women discussing the whole, they weren't allowed to wear red nail polish, or even celebrities or athletic people or people talking about nails or whatever, and their story with it and how people judge them, I will leave that below. Black women in particular, or put in the video, sorry. But it's crazy how it symbolized wealth and power, and it's like they try to take away our power all the time. And we can see that with the most recent cases of police brutality, of so many other different things. Karens in the grocery store. I know that's kind of like a weird term, but that's what they're referred to as, right? Mean white people or rude white people are referred to as Karens most of the times. So we can see that when they're in stores and whatever. The white people, most white people, not all, but some white people aim to take away our power and our wealth. And that's why Black people most of the time have this stigma attached to them, or stereotype attached to them, that we're middle class or low class, and that we're the most people that are in poverty. And when you look at it, it's like it all makes sense. That They don't want us to have the wealth and the power. So by us wearing red nail polish, that means we shouldn't be allowed to wear it. Because what? They don't want us to wear it because what? Come again? Like, you don't think we have the wealth. We don't have the power. So it's okay for white people to wear it because they have wealth and they have power. Usually when you hear of white people, it's automatically thought of, oh, they have money. That's the automatic assumption. Not every white person has a lot of money. Not every white person is financially stable. But still, that's the stereotype they have attached to them, is that they have money, that they're rich, that they... Jesus. Okay. Anyways, let's keep reading. Because the wealthy grew... Okay, sorry. Permitted to wear red. In China around 3000 BC, the wealthy grew their nails long and adorned them with jewelry to indicate they didn't need to use their hands for manual labor. Okay, these attitudes continue well into the 1970s and 80s as black women adopted acrylic nails. Society, that is to say middle class white society, sneered at fake nails and considered them a sign of being low class. After all, if you couldn't grow your own nails long enough to paint, they must be because you were working class. Red nail on black women was a sign of their oversexed nature because goodness is not as though they were anyone's boss. Different centuries, same class warfare. They didn't want us to have that power that they have. So they knocked us down 10 times below. Like I said, they attached a whole different meaning for black women, and that because of that, that stereotype has been around that black women, black little girls should not wear the color, or especially the nail color, red. And it's the fact that nails back then especially were a way to differentiate by low class, middle class, this class. It was basically like a politics type of thing. They use the nails, especially the nail color, to differentiate by classes. So whether you were low class, middle class, it depended. They didn't want black people to rise up to the top. And they still don't, most of them. They still don't. And this is why we have to break these generational things. We have to start doing our researches and start breaking these generational things and getting to the root of these things. Because you hear the most weirdest things. Like, this is one of them. The colors. But such a small thing has so much of a bigger meaning. And we have to break these down because we can't let our generations get this type of same treatment to make them below what they're not. And I'm just to the point where I feel like black women should have a day or a week when they wear, every black woman, as much black woman as there can be, wear red nail polish. To just show them something. And I want to see their faces. To some of them now, it's more of like a natural thing. But back then, it really wasn't. And that's the whole thing. It's kind of easing out now because this generation and these generations are kind of easing it out now, and it's kind of becoming normal. But I'm pretty sure there's still some women out there who stay away from the color red, who are black women. But there is so many things that's just like attached to this. But then it's like, without us, would the nail industry really be popping? Because who gets their nails done the most? We basically kind of started this off after the Chinese people did. Because once they had their nail art stuff going on, their decorations, we began to take place next in line to carry that out. You see what I'm saying? And now it's so much adopted by that. You see what I mean? Nail art has roots as far back as thousands of years ago, to the time of ancient Egyptians and Chinese who would use nail polish to differentiate between classes. Wow. Nail polish was used to differentiate between classes. Best believe I will rock my red, okay? Because they don't want to see you boss up, but you're going to boss up, boss up, boss up, boss up, okay? Yeah, do that. But like I said, there's so much between these messages, and I feel like there's so many beauty standards that women are held to, black women are held to, that sometimes make no absolute sense, because it's like they put a lock on our lives. Everything that we do bothers everybody. It bothers the whole world. We can't do nothing in peace, not even wear a simple nail polish color, because why? They don't want us to have power, entrepreneurship, wealth, success, confidence, bossing up. They don't want us to be on their level. And that's what we're not getting, the bigger picture. But like I said, there's so much beauty that comes out of nail art. So to every black female watching this, whoever black male, don't let anything discourage you from being the person you need to be. Having more wealth, more success, more whatever it is, a voice, confidence. You have all the keys to that. It doesn't matter your color, but you gotta know. You gotta stand up. Stand up and show out and show up. And don't let this keep passing to generations. Let your kids be knowledgeable by this. Let the teens be knowledgeable by this. Let everybody be knowledgeable by this. It's one wake-up call out of thousands of how one small thing could have such a bigger meaning. How would I know that nail polish, something as simple as nail polish, red and specifically, it's like crazy how nail art could be so crazy to people just because it has such a bigger picture. Nobody understood that. But shout out to all the nail artists out there. Shout out to all the small upcoming nail artists out there. Continue to do your thing. Continue to be bigger and better, and we're rooting for you. We're pushing for you. Comment down below your Instagram if you are a nail tech, entrepreneur, or whatever. Comment down below. Leave those comments, and I hope you guys like this video. Comment down below what you thought about this, if this relates to you in a way, and how, if you've never heard of this before. So let me know. I'm going to leave the sources in the description box. And without further ado, it's Divine D. That she is out.
I'm a witness of forgiveness. You're giving his forgiveness. Living is forgiveness. You're giving his forgiveness. Living is forgiveness. I'm a witness of forgiveness. You're giving his forgiveness. Living is forgiveness. Forgiveness.